This is for educational use only. Our group is allowing our instructor, Mr. Roldan Ardinis, to use this as an educational material.
For today's video, I'm going to talk about material self. Material self is the concept of the material self refers to the aspect of one's identity that is associated with the physical objects and positions that a person owns and surrounds themselves with. This can include things like clothing, jewelry, technology, furniture, and other personal items that we use in our daily lives. The material self can be an important part of how we present ourselves to others and how we express our individuality. It can also play a role in our self-esteem and sense of well-being, as the things we own can give you a sense of security and comfort. However, it's important to recognize that the material self just one aspect of our identity, and focusing too much on our material positions can lead a shallow and unsatisfying sense of self. It is important to cultivate other aspects of our identity, such as relationships, values, and personal qualities in order to develop a more well-rounded and meaningful sense of self.
My topic is economic self. What is economic self? Economic self-sufficiency is the ability of individuals and families to maintain sufficient income to consistently meet their basic needs, including food, housing, utilities, health care, transportation, taxes, dependent care, and clothing, with no or minimal financial assistance or subsidies from private or public.
This section focuses on how people maintain extensions of themselves through material possessions and maintenance of particular lifestyle. In the context of what the society values as needs and wants, this section discusses how an individual acquires goods, the factors that shapes his or her economic decisions, and what these things say about one's sense of self.
People are likely to purchase products that can relate to their personality. Material possessions signify some aspects of one's sense and self and identity. Possessions tell a lot about their owners. Thus, one's sense of self is identity is influential on how an individual chooses to purchase his or her wants and how he or she makes economic decisions that will address his or her personal and social needs. The decision that go into the purchase of items and certain services is dependent on a number of factors, including financial constraints, availability of items and services, and the influence of family and friends.
However, the most important factor is determining whether these items and services fall under. First one is wants. Synonymous with luxuries, people buy them for reasons that do not warrant necessity. Next is needs. These are important for survival. Food, clothing, and shelter are basic needs, so people purchase them out of necessity. In the process of acquiring material goods, people generally consider two things. The first one is utility, concerned with how things serve a practical purpose. The next is the significance, concerned with the meaning assigned no the object. It is also concerned with how objects become powerful symbols or icons of habit and ritual, which can be quite separate from their primary function. To further understand the term significance, Roland Barthes studied the concept of seriology of the study of science. According to him, it is through objects that people assert their identities. This idea suggests that objects, aside from contributing to how the individual identities himself or herself, also signify relationships of people with others based on what they possess. The possessions of material things also indicates one's status in the society. These are personal choices builds one's materials and economic self, which is an extension of his or her social identity.
So, my topic belongs to implication of possession or lack of self-esteem and the feeling of well-being. So, how possession can affect on how we see ourselves. Possession allow us to understand and to express our self-identity. One's identity is a function of doing, being, and having. Possessions are important, but things are used to show who you are and to demonstrate your ability to generate them. They represent the work identity more than the other source of identity. There are also stereotypes about possession. Just like nowadays, people will judge you on how you look or what you have. That's why you show off your possession to the other people. But just like what I said, possession also allow us to understand and to express ourselves. For example, is like you want to express your feeling by the way on how you dress, and also like you have a certain object you possess that reminds you of the memories of your loved ones, or it has a sentimental value for you.
Your spiritual self. What is spiritual self? Spiritual self is you in your most beautiful and powerful. It is the authentic self, the unconditioned part, the you without patterns. This is personal for each of us. No need to get caught up on the language. We all know the three basic components, body, mind, and soul, comprise as one of composite unit called the self. However, this self gets separated into two within the mind, the material for the thinking self and the second is the spiritual or the authentic self. The former self comprises of the body and mind, which is unconditioned beliefs and regards in the prejudices towards life. The latter meaning the spiritual is unconditioned and pure in the form of the soul. The former again is the deceiving self, which referred to as the ego referring to the quantum of what we are, identified and attached to its objective self of me, mine and myself, consistently wanting more and more out of its material life, bound illusions for the duration it is alive. The spiritual self is on another is free from all these bindings and effortless witnesses its own mind and its stuff, which we consider as looking inwards towards that inner self is away from those material. Thank you.
Visioning with your spiritual self. Here's a powerful little piece of popular neuroscience. Your brain learns as well from what you imagine as from what you experience. Think about it. How often is your dark slide doing or visioning for you? It imagines the terrible possibilities or tells you that you can't be do or have what you want. Let your spiritual self do that visioning and paint the pictures of your life on the right thread. Remember that being baggage, doing, and in your visioning. Let your primary focus be on imagining the qualities of being that give you a life you love. Feel those qualities right then and there in your visioning and embody them as if it is happening now. How do you want to feel in your home, your work, your relationship with yourself and others? And living with that quality of being, what might you be doing? When we are fixed on what we must do or have to be happy, happiness could walk right up and weave at us and we wouldn't even see or recognize it. When our visioning includes the qualities of being, we wish to cultivate our body learns to recognize when we are on trade, out on or track, when we are living into our visions.
The dark side filters out possibility, new awareness, new qualities of being in our perception of our experiences, and instead highlights evidence that validates our doubts, keeping us in the small box of our limitations. See, I really didn't change anything at the process. Here's the proof. When we are living from what we love and care about, or as the meteorologist Joseph Campbell said, following our bliss, we are letting our spiritual self guide us. We are living on purpose. Try it in a big small ways. You can vision one day or 5 years or simply an upcoming event. Think recycling. Then, take action to manifest your vision by finding that first right size step and taking it. If your intellects get in the way of assessing your spiritual self, simply recall a moment in time when you're peaceful and content. This may be associated with nature, love, creativity, or anything else, which induce a sense of serenity in your mind's eye. Notice how you look, your facial expression, your posture, your eyes, and you can immediately reconnect to yourself in the most beautiful form. That's all. Thank you.